Welcome back, everybody. So today we are going to be doing an officer's guide. I will also be doing some tips and tricks for first-time learners just to make sure that you maximize your efficiency with this class. So knowing your place as an officer. You, as an officer, are a very close quarters combat class, so you will be up at the front lines, and really the only times you should leave the front lines are to go to a different location, or to shoot a bomber and reload, or to help others like this. So that's pretty much the only time you should leave the battlefield. Anyway, so yes, you should not leave the battlefield extremely often, unless for either saving teammates or sniping. So that's kind of your role as an officer, is just being a support class. You're not really an extremely damaging fighter like an infantry or seaman, but you kind of support other classes. So you just provide that bit of extra damage that your teammate needs. Now the weapon types for the officer are there's three weapons currently in this version of the game. This is version 0.14.8. But this version, there are three weapons, which again are subject to change as of future updates. But the primary weapon that I'm going to be talking about right now is just the pistol. Now the pistol is a single pellet weapon with a good fast reload time and relatively good damage. So, yeah, so the pistol can be used for sniping bombers or just picking off single zombies. Next weapon is the double barrel pistol. As the name suggests, this pistol has two barrels, therefore providing two shots, and is primarily used for close quarter combat, not sniping. If I just wanted to reload one shot, here, I'll go into first person for the animation. If I just wanted to reload one shot, and then I change my my weapon, and it'll just reload one. Now, if you wanted to reload both, you just automatically wait for the animation to finish, and you will load both barrels. Now, there is a toggle double shot function. Now, the double shot, if you press X, you'll see up here that a line appears near this. You'll see that that line will appear when the double shot is active. So you will shoot two shots when this little line on the side here appears. So if I press X, it'll disappear. This means I shoot like this. But if I change it to the double shot function, that means that I will in fact shoot both shots at the same time. This is primarily used for either sniping. Now, again, it's not very accurate from far range. This has some of the lowest range out of any weapon in the entire game. This double shot function is primarily used for either shooting zappers in the head or large crowds. Next weapon is the brass pistol, and the brass pistol may remind you of the navy pistol. It shoots multiple pellets. I think it's 7. I don't actually remember. And it has a low damage, but it does have multiple pellets and not amazing penetration. But again, this is more used for crowd control and spread more than anything else. So for this weapon, I would primarily use this for crowd control or sniping bombers, because you have a higher chance of hitting a bomber with the range that these pellets provide. Now, I would not use them as much on just crowds of shamblers, as they don't do much damage to shamblers. But zappers, this gun is extremely good with, because a zapper, if you're very close range to a zapper, all these pellets should hit it and kill it almost instantly. Besides that, it doesn't have much other use. It's not an extremely damaging weapon, but it does the job. I think this weapon is down to the particular taste of the player. for how you use this weapon and how much you like it. But yeah, so those are the three primary weapons of the officer and their basic uses. Now, the other thing we are going to move on is how you should use your saber. So now we are going on to saber techniques. Now, this is extremely important in the midst of battle, as this can provide either life or death. The down strike is an extremely important saber slash for this class, but we'll talk a bit more about that later. First, we're going to be talking about the up strike. Now, the up strike is mostly used for getting headshots. Now, it is extremely difficult to use the up strike and very dangerous, as it does not have much range and can lead to being hit by a shambler or worse, a zapper. So this is actually relatively effective on zappers, as they do have lots of health, and using this once they use their strike can help you win the war against a zapper. The next strike we're going to be talking about is the left side strike. Now, the left side strike is very good for crowd control and damaging multiple enemies at once. Now, the side strike is a bit more dangerous than the bottom strike, which I'll talk about in a second, because it has less range, and that means more room for a shambler or worse, a runner to grab you. Now we are going to talk about the down strike, and the down strike is an important part of knowing your saber, as it provides more range and a good fair amount of damage to killing any zombie. As you can see, I can attack from a fair range, and that means that they cannot grab me as easily or hit me as easily. So from this range, I can stand about that far away and get him, which means that they cannot automatically grab me, which is extremely useful, especially when dealing with crowds. Now, the only downside to the bottom strike is you're not getting the area covered by the left strike, so you can't damage more than about 3 enemies at one time, and that's if they're standing in a line or inside of each other. Now, another important thing you need to know for your arsenal of saber info is something called a flick. And a flick is extremely useful during battle, as you can... Now, it does kind of make your screen go a bit crazy, but you can attack while staying away. And that means flicking your cursor over towards the enemy will give you an extra boost of range and keep you far away from your enemy. And it may also confuse the AI for the enemy and make them start going around in a few different weird directions. Like you were just saying then, they were turning this way, and then this way, and this way, and this way, and they were losing their ground on me. So that is a very useful tactic, especially with the left side strike as well, because that will also mean life or death, because if you're over here, in the middle of your flick, what you want to do is you want to move backwards. So you want to move forwards and backwards. Forwards, backwards. Oh, sorry, missed that one. Forwards, backwards. Forwards, backwards. Forwards, flick backwards. Forwards, flick backwards. The left side strike will also give you a bigger chance for getting headshots as well, because it curves up all the way down. Another extremely useful piece of information to know as an officer is how and when to use your charge. Now, your charge bar is at the bottom right of your screen, and I'll talk about how to gain charge in a minute, but first I want to show you what happens when you activate a charge. Now, if your charge bar is full and you press Q, you will start sprinting, and your swings with your sabers become faster and more damaging. Now, this lasts for, I don't even remember how long it is, like 7 seconds or something. But it is extremely effective, especially with your comrades, your other players. Now, how to gain charge, you might be wondering. So, the way you gain charge is by hitting zombies. You'll see your charge bar with every hit will slowly increase, bit by bit, until your charge bar is full. And when you press Q, you and your surrounding allies, other players, will start to do the charge where you run and start to swing more rapidly and do more damage. So it takes roughly like probably 30 zombies, less than that, to get your charge bar full. Doesn't take very long, especially in endless game modes. So if I was to summon lots more normal zombies, my charge, and each country has a different line for when they start their charges. So as you can see, this was much quicker. Oh, sorry about that. This was much quicker and much more effective than just my normal swings. And that is a basic guide on the officer. Now, it's not everything you need to know, but it will get you started. So, if you did find this video useful, please consider subscribing and liking just to make sure that it encourages me to make more content like this as well. So if you would like to show your support, just go ahead and subscribe. And yeah, I hope this was extremely helpful. Oof. I hope this was helpful, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you very much for watching. In fact, let me just really quickly. Let me roast. Ooh, toasty. Thank you very much for watching.